Hello, I'm Henry Keane. We are UATV. Welcome to Wrap Up Weekly. Today in the episode, Ukraine pushes forward, Russian troop losses soar amidst fierce clashes. Ukraine still holding ground even inside Russia, in Kursk. What will happen to Pokrovsk? Russians claim false achievements. Massive drone attack on Russian energy facilities on the night of October 31st. Ukrainian troops continue to defend their positions despite ongoing Russian assaults. The armed forces of Ukraine are making strategic progress on the front line, while Russian forces have achieved tactical gains indeed in several directions. Over the past day, in total, 132 clashes were recorded. As of the morning of October 31st, 2025, Russian troop losses in dead and wounded have reached staggering 1,141,830 men, with Ukrainian forces reportedly eliminating around 1,000 invaders daily. Institute Study of War analysts updated the frontline situation. According to the report, Ukrainian forces improved their positions in northern Sumy region. Geolocated footage confirms an advance near Konstantinovka, close to the state border. Analysts also suggest that Ukrainian troops may have by now even entered Kindratyevka. Fighting continues in the border areas of Sumy in Russia's Kursk region, by the way, particularly near Alexeyevka. In the Kharkiv region, Russian forces continue their assaults, but achieved no progress so far. A similar situation persists on Kupiansk axis, despite Russian claims of allegedly capturing the community of Sadove and advancing even south of the city. International analysts confirm no information like that, found no evidence of territorial changes. In case someone forgot, Ukrainian units are still carrying out combat missions and holding positions on the territory of Russia. Russian Federation, that's right, as confirmed by the spokesperson of the Kursk group, Alexander Nevidomy, during a Ukrainian national telethon on October 30th. According to him, the front remains active. Russian forces continue attempting to establish a so-called buffer zone, but Ukrainian troops are thwarting all these efforts. A reminder, the Kursk operation by Ukrainian forces began in August 2024. Russia deployed as much as over 65,000 troops to the region and also sought support from North Korea. Yet Ukrainian forces are still there and still fighting.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
President Vladimir Zelensky previously praised the Kursk operation as goal-achieving, allowing the Ukrainian army to divert Russian units from other parts of the front. Russia's defense ministry claims that dictator Putin ordered his troops to allow foreign and even Ukrainian journalists unhindered access to areas in Pokrovsk, Mirnograd and Kupiansk, where Moscow claims Ukrainian forces are blocked, offering a potential 5-6 hours ceasefire. UATV in turn offers an explanation of such a dictatorial generosity of Vladimir Putin. Russian forces continue attempts to break into Pokrovsk in Donetsk region of Ukraine using small unit tactics and aiming to secure an eastern and northern parts of the city. According to Deep State, the city remains largely a gray zone. Ukrainian defenders actively use drones to counter enemy advances. The weather conditions may limit their effectiveness, which analysts warn the Russians could and obviously will exploit. Contrary to earlier Russian General Staff claims, Ukrainian units are not surrounded in the city. The main challenge for the defenders, however, so far is logistics, as supplying ammunition, provisions and reinforcements becoming increasingly difficult. Russian President Vladimir Putin, or better said dictator, has ordered his forces to capture Pokrovsk by mid-November, but international analysts consider the goal highly unlikely. As for a generous media ceasefire proposed by Putin, Ukrainian side has a clear explanation of that. Putin wants Pokrovsk that badly that his soldiers, including drone operators, disguise themselves as civilians to infiltrate the city undetected, an act that Institute Study of War describes as perfidy under international law. Commander-in-Chief of Ukraine's armed forces, Alexander Syrsky, who visited Ukrainian positions there in Pokrovsk area just yesterday on October 30th, which would have been impossible if Russians surrounded the area, actually, reported that Russian claims of encircling Ukrainian forces in Pokrovsk or Mirnograd are false. So why this micro-ceasefire from Putin? Georgy Tikhy, the spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, offers an answer.
I saw firsthand how such proposals play out on August 29, 2014, in Ilovaisk. Putin's only goal is to prolong the war, and he has never kept any of his ceasefire pledges. Do not assist him in justifying his crimes through Russian provocations against journalists. Georgy Tikhi, the spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine.
However, the situation in Pokrovsk is no easy indeed. We have also contacted some of the most prominent of international analysts for you and asked a direct question: what is going on in Pokrovsk and what is most likely to happen?
Concerning Pokrovsk, Ukraine for the last 4 years has been trading land for time, and I argue what military in the history of the world has done a better job of trading land for time. If you zoom in far enough, yeah, it looks like the Russians are making daily advances, but you have to zoom out and think about the big picture. What percent of Ukraine's total territory has the Russians taken over the last 1,000 days? And it's about 1%. How many casualties have the Russian military take? How much of their national wealth fund have they squandered over the last 3.5 years? Pokrovsk, Zelensky says that the forces in the city, Ukrainian forces, are outnumbered 8-1, but that's the military science. You want to minimize casualties while holding territory and maximize the losses that the invaders are taking. So it's a difficult situation, but honestly, making daily videos about this war for 4 years now, I remember the story of early 2022 when Lysychansk and Severodonetsk was surrounded. The cauldron was collapsing. The Russians were advancing. They were going to have a huge breakthrough. How much farther beyond Severodonetsk and Lysychansk has the Russians gone in the last 3.5 years? The story of early 2023 was Bakhmut. The cauldron was collapsing. The Russians are enclosing. They're going to have a breakthrough. How much farther beyond Bakhmut have they gone in the last 2.5 years? The story of 2024 was Avdiivka. Avdiivka is surrounded. The cauldron is collapsing. The Russians are advancing. They're going to have a breakthrough. How much farther have they gone since taking Avdiivka 1.5 years ago? And it's the next mid-sized town. It's Pokrovsk. So Pokrovsk has been the story of 2025. Konstantinivka, the story of 2026. Sloviansk, the story of 2027. Kramatorsk, the story of 2028. How much longer can the Russians keep wasting men, wasting material, wasting resources, and wasting time to just take mid-sized town after mid-sized town in one oblast of Ukraine?
Russia started selling toy replicas of Shahed drones, believe it or not. Target audience is children, of course. A toy replica of the Iranian Shahed drone, which Russia has been actively using to attack Ukraine and kill civilians, is being sold to children in Russia. The description states that the product is, we quote from now, suitable for children aged 6 and up, and claims that it develops coordination, accuracy, and imagination. It is also described as the perfect gift for young patriots and future conquerors of the sky. Notably, the toy can be equipped with firecrackers on the tip of it that explode upon impact, simulating how real Shahed drones fly to a target and explode. All Russian reviews online for the product featured on the site are positive. Consumers are delighted. Russians are amazed by the opportunity to make their children start learning to kill civilians. In other countries, they're going to invade probably when they will grow up. During the night of October 31st, a large-scale drone attack targeted several Russian regions, with reports of hits on energy infrastructure in 3 regions. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, 130 drones were allegedly shot down over 14 regions overall during the night of October 31. In the city of Oriol, drones attacked the local thermal power plant. Following the explosions, parts of the city were left without power completely, and authorities announced restrictions on heating and water supply in several districts. Monitoring channels report that the open switchgear of the plant, which supplies power and heat to the whole city of Oriol, was hit. The Oriol thermal power plant is the largest source of power and heat in the region. Drones also struck the Vladimirskaya electrical substation. This is yet another key energy facility in the region. Its stable operation is crucially important for the reliability and balance of Russia's power system. A large fire broke out after the attack. Roads were blocked and schools in the nearby area even were temporarily closed. At least 7 explosions were reported in Yaroslavl near the Slavnefteyanos oil refinery. Following the incident, the city's airport suspended operations. Local residents report powerful blasts in the industrial zone of the city. The plant's facilities are designed to process as much as 15 million tons of oil per year in terms of primary oil refining volume. It ranks 5th amongst Russia's oil refineries. Its products are supplied to almost all the major enterprises in Russia's central and northwestern regions, as well as to airports, by the way, the Northern Railway Administration, and, of course, defense industry facilities. Russian oil product exports fell to around 2 million barrels per day in October, the lowest since early 2022. Amidst Western sanctions and Ukrainian strikes on energy infrastructure, diesel shipments rose slightly, but crude and fuel oil exports plunged, especially through Baltic ports after attacks on Ust-Luga port. Ukraine's intelligence notes Russia can only increase production by 190,000 barrels per day, a rate far below global leaders in the market. That seems to be it for today. I'm Henry Keane. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart and 40 million Ukrainian hearts for standing firmly with Ukraine. Please subscribe to ATV channel so to stay tuned, obviously, to what's going on in the world seen from Ukrainian perspective. Thank you. Goodbye.